Welcome to yet another episode of The Speaking Citizen. I am Mehru Jafar, bringing to you once again the ongoing series on art, culture, and literary activities. The Speaking Citizen team introduces to you creative members of society, like artists, writers, film and theater personalities, and poets. The belief is that if all citizens had even a little bit of poetry in us, from politicians to pickpockets, the world, I'm sure, would be a bit better off than it is today. Today, our guest is Faridoon Shahryar, an entertainment journalist, perhaps more popular than the people he interviews. Faridoon is also a poet, and his first collection of poems in English has recently been released. It is called Dust of Sadness. But before I ask Faridoon the first question, let me recite this for you. मुश्किलों की बारिश थमे न कभी. मुलाजा फरमाइए, मुश्किलों की बारिश थमे न कभी, रुके न कहीं गरजती लरसती बौछार. मैं खड़ा हूं जहां वहां बरसती रहे गमों की पुहार. आजमाइश मेरी मंजिल, जुस्तजू जुम्बिश मकसद मेरा. तूफान से कहो मेहनत करो, जुनून ही है शेवा मेरा. वाह, बहुत खूब लिखा. शेवा का मतलब बताइए, और ये बताइए कि ये अल्फाज किसके हैं, और who has written these words and woven them into such a beautiful poem. These, and what do these words mean to you, and why are the words being shared with us by the poet? To you.
बहुत शुक्रिया मेरू आपा. I think that's a fabulous start, and I think आपसे यही तवक्को मैं कर सकता हूँ कि that's something that surprises will be the starting point. So ये नज़्म मैंने लिखी है, और मैं रात में actually काफी बार रात में मेरी आँख खुल जाती है, तो I think बहुत सन्नाटा होता है, तो मुझे अच्छा लगता है. मुझे लगता है कुछ I think something constructive, something nice comes up. तो शेवा का मतलब, जैसे मैंने अभी आपसे मैं जिक्र कर रहा था, शेवा is I think a very connotative word है, बहुत ही खूबसूरत word है. It's like second nature, something, you know, ये फितरत के बारे में कह सकते हैं, या फिर something that comes naturally to me. तो उसका connotative उसका meaning है कि that जुनून ही है शेवा मेरा, in the sense that जुनून is something that suits me, and it comes naturally to me, and this is something which is in a way my destiny as well. So अब I think शायरी जो होती है, मेरे ख्याल से I think मेरे लिए एक amalgamation होता है multiple experiences का, multiple thoughts का, multiple I think जो आपका जो एक जो आपको लगता है कि जो एक मुस्तकबिल होने वाला है, because I think अगर आप शायरी पढ़ते हैं, करते हैं, आप एक क्रिएटिव आपका एक परसूट होता है, तो एक इमेजिनेशन जो है थोड़ा बहुत वो होता है, and which is something that you try to share with the world. So बारिश आजकल बहुत हो रही है यहाँ बॉम्बे में, and when it rains in Bombay, it literally pours. And for the last, I think 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks now, it has been raining like cats and dogs, and it's tough. And you have to go and you have to do your jobs. आपको काम भी करना होता है. After a point of time, you start challenging it, that if you have to pour like the way you want to, but still we are unstoppable. We'll keep on doing our work, and चाहे हम लोग भीगे या चाहे कुछ भी हो, हम करेंगे. तो एक तो वो उसमें इसमें वो है. दूसरी चीज ये है कि that I think कोई भी शायरी जो है वो I think अच्छी तभी होती है जब वो आपको सरप्राइज करती है. वो आप जो आप एक लीनियर कोई भी थॉट प्रोसेस है, या फिर इवन जो वर्ड प्ले है, तो वो आई थिंक आफ्टर पॉइंट टाइम प्रेडिक्टेबल हो जाता है. पैंडेमिक में one thing that I've really gained is that I've really delved deep in Urdu poetry. और बहुत मैंने कोशिश करी है कि जितना डिटेल तरीके से मैं मुताला कर सकूं, मैं मुताला करने की कोशिश करता हूँ। रोजाना मैं कोई ना कोई किताब में पढ़ रहा होता हूँ। आजकल भी मैं एक गालिब के ऊपर मैं किताब पढ़ रहा हूँ। महर फारूकी साहिबा हैं, महर अफशा फारूकी, शमसुररहमान फारूक साहब की बेटी, उनकी उनकी किताब है, कमाल की किताब है, तो मैं उसको भी मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ। उससे कुछ दिनों पहले मैंने गोपीचंद नारंग साहब की किताब थी गालिब पे, मैंने वो पढ़ी थी। एंड सुरिंदर देओल साहब हैं, उन्होंने एक फैज़ अहमद फैज़ पे बहुत कमाल की किताब लिखी है, तो मैंने सेशन किया था, तो वो मैंने किताब में नॉमिनेट पढ़ी। तो वो आई थिंक इट्स अ ह्यूजली लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस। और जो आपने कहा कि दैट समथिंग व्हिच इज अनऑब्वियस, जो इसमें कहने की कोशिश है, तो गोपीचंद नारंग साहब का एक बहुत कमाल का, बहुत बड़े क्रिटिक, अभी उनका इंतकाल हुआ, and which is very very unfortunate because he was one of the brightest lights that India has seen in the last 50-60 years, I think. उनका एक सेशन में देख रहा था अभी कुछ दिनों पहले। इनफैक्ट जब मैं सेशंस में ये देखता हूँ तो यूट्यूब पे, तो मैं बहुत बहुत बार सुनता हूँ। बेसिकली आई लिसन टू देम इन अ पॉडकास्ट फॉर्मेट एंड आई रीविजिट देम, लाइक द वंस दैट रियली अट्रैक्ट मी मेनी टाइम्स। मैंने सर्टेन सेशंस को मैंने 50-50 60-60 बार मैंने सुना है। मैंने इतना सुना है कि मुझे वो याद हिफ्ज हो चुका है। तो नारंग साहब ने तो गालिब के ऊपर उनका एक सेशन था, वो एक बेसिकली ही वाज सेइंग समथिंग अबाउट गालिब। तो उसमें उन्होंने इतनी कमाल की बात उन्होंने कही है कि दैट उन्होंने एक कोई कहानी बताई। उसके बाद फिर उन्होंने कहा कि हम लोग यूजुअली हम शायरों को उनकी रोशनी में तलाश करते हैं, और गालिब को हमें अंधेरों में तलाश करना चाहिए। उनके जो अंधेरे हैं, उनकी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज हैं, उसमें हमें तलाश करना चाहिए, वहां गालिब मिलेंगे। And we'll get to know why he's one of the finest poets that this country has ever seen, and not only this country but anywhere in the world. और जो लेवल ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज उनके वहाँ है, और जो एक नेगेटिव डायलेक्टिक्स की बात करते हैं बेसिकली, कि दो ऑपोजिट्स को वो एक साथ लेकर आते हैं, बिल्कुल दो कंट्रास्टिंग चीजों को एक साथ लेके आते हैं, विच इज मोर देन मेटाफर। थॉट में जो है नेगेटिव, मतलब एक डायमेट्रिकली ऑपोजिट चीज सामने आती है। सो कहीं ना कहीं सिंस मैं बड़ा डिटेल में आजकल मैं आई थिंक गालिब का मैं बहुत कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, उनके 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 स्टाइल को, उनकी उनकी पोइट्री को, उनके थॉट प्रोसेस को, उनके जिंदगी की जीने के आदाब को। तो मेरे ख्याल से शायद वो एक अनकॉन्शियसली जो भी है, वो एक मुश्किलों से हम लोग घबराते हैं, हम लोग दुआएं मांगते हैं, या फिर हम कहते हैं कि मुश्किलों का पहाड़ मेरे ऊपर टूट पड़ा है, और आई होप कि दैट आई सर्वाइव। लेकिन आई थिंक एट टाइम्स जो हार्डशिप्स होती हैं वो ब्लेसिंग्स होती हैं। इट मेक्स यू स्ट्रॉन्गर। जैसे मैंने इमेजिनेशन की बात की, यू टेंड टू एंटिसिपेट दैट व्हाट द फ्यूचर होल्ड्स फॉर यू मे बी, एंड maybe you need to make yourself stronger now so that you can withstand the pressures of the future that is going to be coming. Maybe you're planning something that can help you. So ये उस space से basically ये नज़्म आई थी।
So that brings me to my second question to you, Faridoon. What a beautiful description of a poet like Ghalib by Gopi Chand Narang Saab, indeed a giant in the field of Urdu literature. And what a great body of work he's left behind. If you haven't, but I'm sure you have seen The Hidden Garden, Narang Sahab wrote on the poet Mir Taqi Mir and his poetry. It's so beautiful. What I wanted to ask you, Faridoon, most mortals, perhaps who are not as poetic as poets, when they address the creator of the world and express their fear and their insecurity and their pain to the creator of the world, they always wish and ask for something positive like peace, prosperity, happiness in their life. But here in the lines I just read out from your poem, the poet is asking for a rainfall of difficulties, sadness, trial, struggle, and hardship. How does a poet cope, with all these, this mountain of negativity?
No, so Marupa is, I think, it's not. I as a so I think poetry can be very subjective, and they can be, I think, a lot of things that one can't possibly maybe explain as well, because maybe it is too personal. But what happens is that um, I don't look at it as negativity. I look at it as realism, in the sense that I think pain is a reality. We know that there will be difficulties, there will be hardships, and um, somehow, like for example, if you are weight training in a gym, for example, you get stronger by lifting heavy weights, by literally causing pain to yourself. You become stronger um, physically. So I think pain also leads to certain positive results, as far as you're concerned, because जब आप जब लोहा तपता है तो ही आई थिंक कुछ उसमें कुछ सॉलिड चीज उसमें उसमें आती है, या फिर तो वो एक यहाँ पर मुराद उससे है कि that don't shy away from the hardships which are inevitable, and just be ready for whatever is going to be coming your way. The idea is कि that plan yourself, be mentally prepared. जैसे एक मुनीर न्याजी साहब का एक शेर है जो कि which has been, I think, one of the biggest, um, inspirations in a way for me, and something that has guided me a lot. और वो शेर ये है कि that एक और दरिया का सामना था मुनीर मुझको, एक और दरिया का सामना था मुनीर मुझको, मैं एक दरिया के पार उतरा तो मैंने देखा।
क्या बात।
डिफिकल्टी खत्म हुई तो दूसरी डिफिकल्टी सामने खड़ी होगी. दैट इज लाइफ द वे इट इज. It is not going to be an idyllic or ideal situation when things are going to be hunky dory and pleasant all the time. So be mentally prepared. So it is primarily coming from that, and then this incessant rain, which only anyone living in Bombay can understand that how it can impact you, because it is relentless. It is relentless, and it is very unpredictable. Suddenly it stops, and then suddenly it starts. So it's like very playful, and it's fascinating. So multiple चीजें हैं जो कि एक साथ उसमें आई हैं. So which is in fact मैंने भी कुछ दिनों पहले मैंने एक कपलेट मैंने लिखा था. मुझे मेरी याददाश्त उतनी अच्छी नहीं होती, मुझे याद नहीं होती चीजें, अपने खुद की लिखी हुई. लेकिन उसमें ये था कि दैट उसका एक मिसरा था आखिर का कि दैट ख्वाबों से कहो मुस्कुरा भी दो अब. That was the second line of that. ख्वाबों से कहो मुस्कुरा भी दो अब. In the sense that काफी काफी कुछ हो गया जो होना था, लेकिन ये है कि now I think you can dream now, and you can let your dreams smile. So I think it fluctuates. I think कोई constant नहीं है कोई भी, I think, emotion, या फिर हर इंसान का I think वो fluctuate करते रहते हैं. तो कभी वो कुछ एक आपको कोई अच्छी चीज आ जाएगी, कभी कोई पॉजिटिव चीज आ जाएगी.
So what is the role of pain, separation, and memories, nostalgia, in having inspired some of the greatest poetry written in any language? So you pick up, especially Urdu poetry. There's it's only about separation, hijr, or udasi, or sunset, memories, nostalgia. तो ये है क्या, पेन का क्या मकाम है एक अच्छी शायरी करने में?
देखिए मैं थोड़ा सा either it is George Eliot or it is Thomas Hardy, one of them. मैं हमेशा कंफ्यूज जाता हूँ. उनके बहुत एक फेमस saying है, something that I have learnt a lot from, that happiness is but a small episode in the general drama of life, general pain of life. So happiness जो है, उसका जो दखल है आपकी जिंदगी में, it's just a small episode. It's the general drama is more or less the element of pain is much more than what is considered as happiness. So I think वो एक it's a reality for everyone. और बहुत बार ये भी होता है कि that I think after a point of time, once you understand कि that जिंदगी की सच्चाइयाँ क्या हैं, कि that I think at the end of the day everything is an illusion. fame is an illusion. It's not going to be like a human life is an illusion. It's not going to be there forever. Pain is an illusion. Happiness is an illusion. Having a long lasting relationship is an illusion as well somehow. So कोई भी चीज जो है it's beyond a point, it's not really worth being taken seriously. So अगर आप वो चीज समझ जाएं तो फिर एक कहीं ना कहीं एक लेवल ऑफ इक्वानिमिटी आ जाती है. And maybe you can evaluate your maybe life in a slightly better manner. Maybe even you can plan, if not your life, at least you can plan your day in a certain manner that you can be hungry for things that make you happy. Like for example, uh, before this I had to have this conversation. So as I told you, I had an interview today
Yeah.
with a star
Karthik.
from Karthik Aryan. So yeah, so now the way I planned it, that it happened, and I came back, and so I go to gym in the every day in the morning. Now that is something which is very therapeutic for me. It is like very meditative. On weekends, I try to go to swimming in the evening, or even apart from that, I either I go in the morning or swimming. Now swimming is something that really makes me very happy. So इस आपके interview से पहले I went and for 15-20 minutes I did my swimming. Then I came back. So I think वो अगर आप थोड़ा सा plan कर लें तो happiness को आप steal कर सकते हैं. And you can have happiness on an everyday basis. Things that really like charge you up. Things that really um, just keep you centered in a way, and makes you happy in general. So I think वो जैसे मैंने कहा आपसे कि वो even जो आपने पहले नज़्म सुनाई कि वो planning वाली बात है कि that you're anticipating certain things. They can be rain, they can be storm. Like I swim in the rain as well. See, it's an open swimming pool, so I love it. Like so, बारिश हो रही है and you just literally swimming. So it's beautiful. So
Shouldn't the prayer, shouldn't the faryad uh, in life be for a balance between pain and happiness? Shouldn't but here the poet is just asking for more pain, more azmaish, more trials. So it's like pain seems to dominate. And
so
if
so
the prayer is for pain, how do you experience equanimity?
okay. So now मेरे ऊपर I think कोई भी जो work of art होता है, I think उसमें first of all it has to be deeply personal, but at the same time, if it is not resonating with a certain number of people, then I think it is useless. Um, so somewhere when you're writing something, when you're trying to express yourself, you're also thinking about other people as well. That maybe what you are going through, there are other people as well who are going through something similar. Um, the way the world is right now, we have massive polarization, wars, all sorts of uh, dangers are lurking around. Um, we are we are witnessing that there are events that are unfolding, which I think many of us, most of us, we may not have ever imagined that we can be witnessing these things in a close neighborhood, in our lives in front of us. But those things are happening, and somehow I think it's very important for people to wake up and smell the coffee and understand that it's going to get worse, and you should be prepared for a lot more things, and that can only happen if you are if you're willing to be realistic enough to understand that you need to be far more stronger than what you are presently, because otherwise there are things that have been unfathomable, things that we have seen in the history in the past. We have read about them, and there's things that we are witnessing, um, which are which are bizarre, which are, and all of us know. that what are the things that I'm talking about. So so the idea is,
To you, how do you as an individual, Faridoon, balance your role as an entertainment journalist with, with the realities you just mentioned, swimming around you, especially, when economic and social problems are so obviously overwhelming.
um, I think it's a I think it's a very good question, and something that I really think about a lot. Now, what I realize is that I'm so grateful that I'm an entertainment journalist because I realize that I bring in happiness to a lot of people. A lot of people they follow my work, and they get entertained because I my interviews are mostly entertaining in terms of fun segments that we have, and obviously serious stuff is there as well. So it makes a difference in people's lives in terms of they are able to laugh and have a good time and enjoy themselves. So that is one aspect of it. But at the same time, there have been many conversations where we have spoken about serious matters and we have spoken about a lot of other things. Like recently, I did an interview with this actress called Neetu Chandra, and she broke down in the conversation. She was talking about the fact that how she has done a lot of work, but today she doesn't have any work and she's contemplating suicide as well. And she just opened up. So that interview is currently trending right now, and uh, people are coming out in big numbers from all across the world in terms of offering support to her. And um, so it's something that is really making a difference in a way. And I think tears definitely they can't be they tend to be very honest. So somehow when I have a conversation like this with say Neetu Chandra, it is also like a catharsis for me as well. Of things that I see around me, and I realize that uh, maybe certain things, a lot of other people around me, they're not able to understand that maybe what exactly is wrong around us. But then when you empathize with someone and that person feels good about it, so you feel a sense of having done something selflessly, which also makes you feel good about yourself as well. So it's a I think it's very important to compartmentalize. I always believe that the practical life that we have and the creative life that we have, I think they should be two parallel rivers. They can glance in each other, but they should not meet. Because if you let the creative world merge with your practical life, then I think it's a recipe for madness. Because then you start looking at things with too much of convoluted and idealistic sort of approach. And I think art can never be substantial or big if it is idealistic, if it is too idealistic, if it is sentimental. Art should not be sentimental. Art should be as objective and practical. Practical in the sense that there is logic in art. आप अगर कोई भी आप इमेजरी आप क्रिएट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं तो वो उसमें एक लॉजिक होना चाहिए. इट शुड नॉट बी इलॉजिकल. Metaphor जो है it's very logical. When you're creating a new metaphor as well, it has to be very logical as well. And आप जो पहले नज्म के बारे में भी आप जो पूछ रही थी मुझसे कि that about that pain and how can one wish for pain and all those things. So मैंने उतना सोचा नहीं honestly. And one so एक मैंने आपसे नारंग साहब का जिक्र किया, एक और one individual whom I have learned a lot from is Shamsur Rahman Farooqi sahab.
Absolutely.
Another giant of a literary figure. I think one of the finest in the world. I think, and उनके भी I've known him since my childhood, and I've spoken to him. I've conversed with him. So I've seen a lot of his sessions. तो एक सेशन में उन्होंने कमाल की बात कही थी, which is something that I learned from him. That he said कि that शायर जो होता है वो बहुत clever है. वो उसको कोई दुख नहीं हो रहा है, उसको कोई खुशी खुशी नहीं हो रही. वो बेसिकली एक कोई ऐसी बात कहता है जो कि सेंसिबल है, which is having deeper meaning, and then there has to be wordplay in that, and he's saying it to have a certain impact on people. That जब लोग उसको पढ़ें तो उनको वो impact करे जिस तरीके से वो चाहता है. तो basically he's just literally getting the sort of impact or in terms of surprise element from his audience. So he is necessarily not really going through that pain or anguish or deep anguish which maybe the poetry is conveying. He may not be feeling that. He may be looking at it from a rather dispassionate sort of thing. He may be more interested in that, am I saying something which is quirky, which is different, which is something that may make people think, for example, or talk about. So poetry has to be dispassionate. You have to. You cannot be. It's not merely about yourself. You experience something. Everyone experiences things. It's how you express yourself. And उसमें एक शेर है कि that एक मिसरा है कि that हासले सहरे जहाँ कुछ नहीं, हैरानी है. तो वो जो हैरान करने वाले जो एलिमेंट है, वो हैरान होना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर वो आप हैरान नहीं कर पाए तो फिर then it's pointless.
So talking
You being
about
clever.
all,
You're being just clever, that's it.
very
Not
clear.
being sentimental.
Yes.
You should not be sentimental, I think.
Exactly. But tell me something else, maybe a little more personal. Your first collection of poems is in English.
Right.
Is it because you want to be different from Shahryar Sahab, your father, illustrious father, who wrote so beautifully in Urdu? Is it out of fear of being of writing in Urdu and being compared to your father?
That's a good question. Once again, I think all the questions are amazing. So this collection is basically it's in two parts. The first part is the poems that I wrote from the age of 17 to say around 21. It is called as Innocence in Search of Maturity. And then the second part is from the age group of say around 36 to 42, that ways. And that I'm calling as maturity. So first was Innocence in Search of Maturity, and then it is Maturity in Search of an Escape. That once you get a certain amount of maturity, everyone would want to believe that they're mature. Other people, my wife will think differently, will think differently. But maturity in search of an escape. After a point of time, when you attain maturity, maybe you would want an escape, because maybe the world around you is too stark and too dark, that it's better that you escape and maybe go swimming and all that. So it's divided in two parts. And after a point of time, when I was writing initially, so I was getting published like really big in a lot of English. It's called little magazines at that point of time, and even in say UK and US and everywhere. And then once एक बार आप नौकरी पेशे में लग जाते हैं, तो you realize that poetry is something that doesn't sell. And then I ghost wrote 2 books.
You want to say which ones or not?
Because since it is ghost written, so it was primarily for money.
Yeah.
So I would not want to name them, but yeah. So but the money was good. And then after that, once I bought my first house and all those things, I started writing poetry once again, because poetry, I think, is a very selfless exercise that you should not expect anything commercial out of it. So talking about the fear part, so I think anyone will be fearful if you have Shahryar as your father, because he's such a giant of a figure. And then Aligarh being a small place, so comparisons were inevitable. And जैसे बहुत बार जब अब्बा ने लिखना शुरू किया तो कहा जाता था अब्बा के जो उस्ताद थे कि अब्बा की जो शायरी शुरू की जो शायरी है वो उन्होंने लिखी है, अब्बा के उस्ताद ने लिखी है, खलील रहमान आज़मी साहब ने उन्होंने लिखी है, तो वो अब्बा ने भी वो चीज फेस करी हुई है। लेकिन मेरा एक मल्टीपल चीजें मेरे ख्याल से हैं, बिकॉज उस वक्त मैं इतना छोटा था कि मैं उतना कोई मेरे पास प्लान नहीं था कि दैट दिस इज अगर मैं ऐसे करूंगा तो ऐसे होगा। माय मदर इज अ प्रोफेसर इन इंग्लिश, सो उनका और पोइट्री पढ़ाती थी वो खुद, वर्ड्सवर्थ और कीट्स, और तो ये सब चीजें हमारे घर में थी। तो एक मदर का इन्फ्लुएंस थोड़ा ज्यादा होता है, तो मुझे इंग्लिश पोइट्री की तरफ थोड़ा सा मेरा रुझान भी मेरा थोड़ा सा ज्यादा था। एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद में आई स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग इन इंग्लिश, कि अब नेचुरली जब हम जब एक उर्दू के एटमॉस्फेयर में हम हैं, तो हम वही हमारे जो थॉट प्रोसेस भी होगा वो उसी जुबान में आएगा। सो एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद में व्हेन आई वॉलंटरली स्टार्टेड डूइंग माय कोर्स बीए इंग्लिश, बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स इन इंग्लिश, and I was reading a lot and surrounded by literature. So I consciously started thinking in English. कि जो भी मेरे जहन में अगर थॉट्स आते थे मैं उनको ट्रांसलेट करता था इंग्लिश में, एंड दैट डेफिनेटली कंट्रीब्यूटेड इन the poetry. Like my, if you read my English poetry, it's not forced. My English is not forced. It's coming very naturally. और मुझे एक मलयालम के एक शायर हैं, तो उन्होंने मुझसे कहा कि दैट your poetry has Urdu imagery and you're writing in English, so that makes it rather unique. Just something that we've not. आपके जो metaphors हैं वो सारे वो उर्दू वाले metaphors हैं, but you're writing in English. तो वो एक factor था, but now when the sort of response that it is getting now, because मैंने करीबन 4 साल पहले मैंने उर्दू में मैंने लिखना शुरू किया, but my mother was very keen कि that तुम वो poems को तुम एक book के form में publish जरूर करो। तो ये मेरी मदर का विश था, तो मैंने I fulfilled that. But the response is really amazing, and even I have gone out of the way. I presented it to many big stars, and they've been very supportive. So poetry sell नहीं होती है, that is the grouse of a lot of people. But लेकिन जिस तरीके का इस किताब की जो जो I think चर्चा हुई है, I think it will encourage a lot of poets to pursue their dreams, and they should get published. So,
Maybe we can look forward to the next collection being in Urdu.
Gee,
Perhaps.
definitely, definitely, definitely.
So, which brings me to my last question. I wish we had never to stop this conversation. But you've been in the entertainment industry since 2006, I think. Tell us what is happening in the film industry right now. What should viewers look forward to by way of good films and fine performances? And name us some actors we should look out for.
So I think it's a very interesting phase right now as far as the entertainment industry is concerned, because before pandemic itself, this entire OTT wave had started, and a lot of content was being consumed on OTT. But pandemic literally forced people into being indoors, and the consumption of content on OTT was amazing. I think it's simply unimaginable. Now, pandemic hopefully is behind us now, and last 2 years, some films they have few films they have released in theaters. Uh, some have done very well, but most of them they've not. So now there is this very intense conversation going on that how content should be divided between OTT and cinema halls. Every content is not fit for cinema halls. Some content is better off on OTT, and the stars, the people, they need to be practical, because it is considered status symbol that the film releases in cinema halls. Earlier, it was that if your film is not releasing on cinema halls, then it was considered that there must be something really wrong, that उसको कोई खरीद नहीं रहा है. लेकिन आज वो नहीं है. OTT में the way they tend to promote the shows and films and the content, it's absolutely brilliant. Um, the level of promotions and the works is amazing. There is no pressure of box office. Some such new stars are coming up. A lot of women, they're getting a lot of good work because there is no pressure of box office. So women have people like Sushmita Sen and Shifali Shah and Pooja Bhatt. So many of them, Rasika Duggal. There's so many actresses who have Ravina Tandon. So many actresses, they've really come into their own. Sonali Bendre in the recent times. Shreya Pilgaonkar is, I think, doing some outstanding work. I think you should see Guilty Minds on Amazon. I think it's a brilliant series. There's another one called The Broken News on Z5, which is really really good. Both feature Shreya Pilgaonkar, outstanding talent. Pankaj Tripathi, I was at IFA in Abu Dhabi recently, and there were many stars, many big stars. But when Pankaj Tripathi came on stage, there was a 3 minute standing ovation for him.
Yeah.
And if he would not have started talking, the standing ovation and the clapping would have continued. Now, that is something which tells you how the dynamics have changed, how the entire star system, you don't have to be like a good looking 25-year-old, 30-year-old, or maybe like a 40-year-old supposed star to be loved. It can be like a 45-year-old man who's traditionally, and he was there for he won supporting actor, best supporting actor award. And it is so ironical that the film that he got it for, he was the best part about that film. And if he was not the best actor, then who should have been? So that hierarchy of supporting actor and best actor is there, but people are thinking differently. They are, for them, Pankaj Tripathi and Nawazuddin Siddiqui and um, Divyendu and all these people, Jerry Belawat, they are stars today. So the dynamics are changing very interestingly, and I think the the coming days they will be very interesting in terms of both the big screen experience and and OTT. South is coming up with some big content, and it is so fascinating. Like um, India has around 5,000 screens, cinema halls, and 2,200 are there in the Telugu belt, in the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So people are crazy about cinema in these two states. So it's massive. So it's a very interesting. It's a very very interesting, I think, phase, and the future is going to be very interesting how people cope with basically the change. And जितनी जल्दी anticipate करेंगे future को, so turbulence जो है उसको withstand करने में उतना ही उनको आसानी होगी.
Ji, bilkul. Thank you so much. Always
Thank
such a
you.
pleasure talking to you, and can't wait to talk to you again on
Thank you so much.
your collection of Urdu poetry.
Inshallah, definitely.